So guys, within the Renegades Vidoc, there was a whole load of information, but I think the main point of interest here was the announcement of the 3 criminal syndicates that are going to be coming with this expansion, those being the Pikers, the Totality Division, and Farsis Reformation. Now, me personally, as soon as I saw these guys, I immediately thought of factions, and if these do end up becoming factions, I feel like this is going to be a great system that a lot of people have wanted returned in Destiny for quite some time, but not returned in the way that they were initially added inside of Destiny 2, more in the way that they were back inside of Destiny 1. So today we're going to be looking back at how factions used to work inside of both games, and then go over my speculation of how I feel like these brand new criminal syndicates are going to work, and then how I actually hope they end up working if Bungie decides to put some effort in towards these criminal syndicates, or what I'm going to be referring to as just brand new factions within the game. So let's first start out here with back in Destiny 1. How did factions work? Well, you first had your 3 main factions, which have stayed the same since the entirety of Destiny 2. You had your Future War Cult, your New Monarchy, and your Dead Orbit. Now in the lore you did have other factions, but these were the main 3 that were interactable within the game. And as soon as you got to the tower, I think you had to get to level 25 at least first, and then you were able to align yourself with one of these factions, be it New Monarchy, Future War Cult, or Dead Orbit. You would then get like a little medallion in your inventory which signified that you're a part of a faction, and then just by completing different activities in the game, be it PvP matches, strikes, literally anything, you would be gaining reputation towards these different factions, and by ranking up you would go up the ranks and be given rank up packages, which would contain random faction weapons, armor pieces, and then sometimes even unique cosmetics that were assigned to these different factions. Be it Future War Cult, you would get like some purplish pink coloured shaders, maybe an emblem, and then also a ship. New Monarchy would be where you would get your unique red shaders, including ships and different emblems, and then Dead Orbit is where you would get your completely blacked out shaders, like your super black and stuff like that. Now, Super Black I don't think was actually one of the shaders, but you basically got the idea there. Basically, these factions were really cool and beloved systems back in Destiny 1. You could easily level them up, get unique rewards, and some of the weapons that were tied to these factions were actually really potent. For example, Dead Orbit had the Hung Jury with the Taken King expansion. Everyone leveled up Dead Orbit to get that thing. In Rise of Iron, I believe you also had the release of Wormwood with the Future War Cult, which was an absolute menace inside of PvP. And then back in the launch year of Destiny 1, I believe you had the Vanquisher 8 and Red Hand 9 weapons within New Monarchy, which were just really solid weapons. Now, one of the greatest things about these factions is that each week they would sell their unique weapons and armor with random rolls, which meant that every week you were going to these factions and seeing what rolls were available to be purchased, and then either buying them out or getting to a certain rank to then be able to obtain these weapons, which was really cool, and a system that everybody seemed to like. And near the end of Destiny 1's lifespan, they even gave out exotic class items, which were much different to how they work currently inside of Destiny 2. These exotic class items were unique to each of the different factions and would give you a unique transmat effect for like spawning in based on the faction you were aligned with. New Monarchy gave you like a cool red animation, Future War Cult gave you like a rainbow of like pink, orange, and red, and Dead Orbit, I believe, gave you like a cool whitish like black smoke effect almost. I can't remember completely how these worked, but they were just cool transmat effects. Alongside that, they also allowed you to use these exotic class items alongside any other exotic armor piece, so they didn't take up your exotic slot, and they were basically just a cool thing to flex that you were a high rank with a given faction. And the best thing is that you weren't locked into a specific faction when you aligned with one. So you could align with New Monarchy for 1 week or just a day, and then you could say, okay, I'm done leveling up the New Monarchy for the day, let's go align with Future War Cult and level them up a bit and see what rewards I can get from there, which was a really nice system and allowed people to just freely level up factions and gain unique rewards without any lockouts, which, once again, people really liked. Then going into Destiny 2, these factions were basically completely and utterly changed, now being fit into a week-long event known as faction rallies. How these faction rallies worked is that the faction vendors within the tower would now actually be interactable, and you would be able to earn their unique armor, weapons, and cosmetic items. But they were only available for that week, and you could only align with one of the factions within that given week. So if you chose New Monarchy, you couldn't go and then switch to Future War Cult or Dead Orbit. You were stuck with that given faction. Alongside that, due to how weapons and armor worked inside of Destiny 2, there was no random rolls, meaning that as soon as you got a weapon, that was the only weapon you could get. There was no point in farming them out because they were static rolls, and normally they were all pretty bad. I do not remember any of the old faction weapons back in Destiny 2 Year 1, and neither were any of the cosmetics really that memorable. There are a couple ships that you could earn, but they were just reskins or recolors of ships that already existed, and the shaders weren't anything all that great either due to how shaders worked. Visually, they weren't all that appealing to many people. So then factions were quickly removed from the game and never really brought back since. But factions have still been a feature that players have wanted for a while, just a new system to interact with, grind and earn unique gear. And I feel like these criminal syndicates would be the perfect way of introducing back factions to the game in the way that people want them to be working in the game itself. Think of it like you go to the brand new fastest social space for the first time within the Renegades campaign. You meet up with these brand new factions, and then upon completing the story, you're then able to align yourself with a given faction, earn some unique cosmetics and weapons that are designed around the different factions. For example, the Pikers here seem to have this mechanical kind of reddish and blue hues going on with their armor, so I'm not expecting like to get a full-on themed armor set when aligning with these factions, although that would be incredible. I'm mainly expecting the armor sets to probably be either a default set of armor that then is slightly reskinned or retextured to match the themes or colorings of these different factions. So if you align with the Totality division, you'd probably have some golds thrown in there to align with how these rich kind of Cabal units look, and then for the Pikers you would get like more metals and more like scrap pieces thrown in there, and for Fastest Reformation you might get some like levers and stuff that match the jackets that these Vex seem to be wearing. Stuff like that. That would be really cool. Do I think it's going to end up happening? No. Absolutely not. I'm expecting these guys to basically just be some glorified NPCs within the fastest space that might have some unique voice lines for given missions, and maybe they have some bounties or something that require you to do certain tasks within the brand new game mode coming with Renegades. Would I like to be surprised and have these guys be fully fledged out factions that are able to level up with, interact with, and gain unique loot from? Yes. Do we know anything about these factions outside of their names? No, so all this stuff is just speculation and my hopes and thoughts, and I'm really hoping that we learn more about these guys in the upcoming weeks before Renegades, and especially just how they actually work. Once again, I would love these guys to be just fully fledged out factions like they were back in Destiny 1 with New Monarchy, Dead Orbit, Future War Cult. You align with a faction, you earn rep through just playing anything in the game, and you get rank up packages that can reward you with unique cosmetic items as well as weapons and gear that look and feel like they are actually a part of a faction. I would really hate to see these guys just be glorified NPCs that don't really serve any purpose in the game, especially because all of these guys just look so cool. The amount of people that were hyped to see Vex wearing jackets was insane. The Pikers here look really cool. I love the Fallen designs and would love to align myself with a Fallen faction. And the Totality division look like the most snarky rich people within Destiny's history. So if you're into wanting some gold themed drip, aligning with them would be really cool. And also just aligning with enemy factions would be really awesome, since we've never really done that before. Obviously we had House of Light and also Keitel's Blue Legion, I believe they're called, work with us inside of the campaign, but they don't have their own factions. They're nothing that we can really interact with ourselves in the game. They're just some characters that we meet within certain story moments happening within the game itself. So being able to actually fully interact with these characters and earn some unique rewards from them, I feel like once again would just be a really awesome idea to be added here into Renegades with these criminal syndicates. But that's just my thoughts. How do you guys think these factions, or criminal syndicates, sorry, are going to work? Do you want them to be fully fledged out factions? Do you hope they're like that? Or do you think they're just going to be glorified NPCs that serve really no purpose other than looking cool and building out more characters for us to interact with only within the story? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below, and whilst you're there, if you enjoyed this video, if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel, I would very much appreciate it. And with that all said, I'll see you all in the next one.